All right, diving into the metaverse today, we're going to look at something that I think everybody loves, and that is how Metaverse Land is starting to shape up as an industry. And we'll also take a look at several projects, run down a whole line list. Of course, we'll dive in deep. My name is Paul Barron. Welcome back to Metaverse Insider. Let's get into it today with Mirko back in the house. Great to have you back on the show here, Mirko.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. Just this time from a different location. I just arrived in Dubai, but I can't miss our weekly meeting. So yeah, super excited.
I love it. Of course, Mirko Dölger with Unix Gaming. And he's been so kind to help us with really understanding some of the growth sectors within not only the metaverse, but you've got gaming. Obviously, land is becoming a big factor in how people are investing in it. I just want to jump to a couple of stories to kind of kick this off, Mirko. Obviously, and I know a lot of people will say, hey, Paul, you didn't mention these particular ones. So I want to get those out of the way real quick. Obviously, the big top 5 Metaverse lands for sale in 2022. They're the usual suspects that you guys have been out there looking at. Axie Infinity, which of course we've talked about a lot here on the show. Decentraland, Sandbox, of course, and then of course you've got BitCountry, and then last is Aavegotchi. Now we'll talk a little bit about Aavegotchi, but in general, what we're seeing is a pretty big expansion in terms of how digital land sales, NFT applications are being utilized in this space. Mirko, I want to jump to a couple of things first, and that is there's a lineup of projects that you've brought to the table today, and I want you to kind of, one, educate us on them. The first one I want to start with is this one right here, BYOPills. Talk to me about this one, because this was a new one to me. I just started researching this when you sent it to us. I wanted to take a deeper look, but give me a breakdown on this one.
Yeah, it's a play and earn game, but it's just not visible right away, and they do a different start. So they're not raising funds with a token. So basically, it was kind of a secret launch. I was looking for these pills, and the pills are kind of having something to do with the environment you're playing in later. And these gameplay trailers, this is in-game, yeah. So there's kind of a lot of work behind that, but it's so secretly kept. Like, you know, it's really like a gem in my opinion. They haven't, and they raised basically, or how they did the whole start of the project was they listed on OpenSea. So they have the BYOPills, yeah. They have the Genesis, the characters, and the land. And it's really trading a lot on OpenSea, and it's still like on a reasonable price to basically own a piece of land. And I really like the idea that you not always have to including a token. You know, it's enough to get people involved. You know, really like from the beginning they own something on the project. And BYOPills, definitely from graphic wise, I was super impressed that it's in that high level for a very, let's say, undervalued project. So it's very interesting to see where it goes. I see a lot of Twitter, people really having BYOPills as a secret gem, I would say. Yeah.
So I was looking at their OpenSea, 10,000 items, 10,100 or 100 items, 2,900 owners, floor price 1.4 ETH. Volume traded, still pretty high. And these, I guess, with some of these projects within land in general, and there's several that we're going to run through. Some you'll recognize today in the show for those of you who are kind of investigating land and getting into the metaverse in a way like that, because there are some good strategic plays. Mirko, when you look at projects like this one with BYOLAND, and it being so new, but also at the same time having some success here on OpenSea, what do you think contributes to this? You mentioned they're using some secretive aspects to it, so that's kind of a pent-up marketing tactic that has been used before in all sorts of things in Web3. What's the best way that you've seen, especially projects, whether it's a play-to-earn or an NFT project, what are some of the best tactics that you've seen them do in terms of being able to get awareness around something like a land sale?
Yeah, I think especially with BYOPills, because they have a strong community, and if you have kind of a limited amount of land, then you have usually small communities, like maybe 20, 50,000 people. Some communities have 100, 200,000 people, but you need these few people who basically make them to diehard fans, by what you're building, and include them in whitelists, in contests, in early, like signups and so on. And they become, actually, before the project release anything, you already have fans and people really like feeling integrated in the process. And these people, they carry you everywhere. So I think this is kind of a secret what was working here. With others, is it's more really the regular marketing, crypto marketing, make a lot of, let's say, exposure, and of course, but I really like that small projects can also, without having a huge marketing budget, with just connecting with people, they can basically get very successful. So BYOPills is definitely one project. I think you will hear more about it when this is like become playable, and if it's going to be, let's say, then the next X Infinity, or it's not,
Right.
but that's speculation. But I like the way they deal with it and how they go to the market. So this is pretty good. I like that.
Yeah. I was looking at just some of their latest news. They were mentioned in the New Yorker. So, I mean, to get that kind of coverage, because typically that's not something that's it's usually kind of reserved for the much more stylistic aspect of pop culture. And then if you look at their Twitter account, and just in the size, I mean, it's a fairly small community, 35,000 members. But they are talking about their Biocraft claiming now live, obviously with one of their NFT assets. There's their Bio Squad. So we are seeing some very interesting projects out there for sure. And I think this is the thing that makes it so unique for me, is trying to figure out which ones can really start to become unique and different. Now, one of the projects that has been unique and different especially on the aspect of the token and the token price, is NFT Worlds here recently. Lots of movement on NFT Worlds. I just jumped to their Twitter just to kind of take a look. They're almost hitting 100,000 members on Twitter now, which to me, that's kind of the threshold for really seeing massive growth in communities. If you can see enough growth on Twitter, crypto Twitter seems to be one of the stronger spots, then you have the opportunity to, when you do drops, whether it's NFT drops or you're doing something like a land sale or some sort of new innovation within your game or your project, Twitter and crypto Twitter seems to be one of the places to do. What are your thoughts on NFT Worlds? Do you like this one?
We actually following the project since the mint because of the building of your metaverse, because we have also our game studio where we also built on the sandbox. And it was really interesting what is really wasn't advertised. And again, it's underdog project by the time it was launched in October. And if you check the mint price was, I think, 0.2 Ethereum. And then we're looking at, I think, 8 Ethereum, 9 Ethereum on a floor price. There is a high demand. And why is that? Because basically what they're offering is they're building with Minecraft. So basically you own the land and you build in Minecraft the world. And
Right.
Minecraft is one of the most played games ever. Yeah, because it don't require a lot of high computing, and you can build your own worlds. And Minecraft was, ever since, one game like everybody played from 6 years old until 50 years old. And basically these worlds you can play in Minecraft, so you can log in with Minecraft, earn the world token. Also, you can stake the land and earn the world token. And sooner you can purchase with the world token in-game NFTs. So it's really interesting, like how you take an existing game, connecting it with a land, and they building amazing worlds there. And I see some projects like Cyberkongs, they had a world there, and and that's why we're building also since October. We're already building on our world. Yeah, so definitely an awesome project. And yeah, it's they have several tournaments, and 100,000 people on Discord. This is on Twitter is already something, but yeah, the collection is awesome. And you see some buildings. And yes, it's this pixel graphics, it's and I would even say it's maybe even more advanced than Sandbox, because Minecraft already exists and have let's say a proven gameplay, right? So
Yeah,
now just connecting that to NFTs is a very interesting feature. So yeah, thumbs up
I like
for
it.
NFT from our side.
Yeah, we've covered NFT Worlds on our show before and have done some analysis on it just as a project in general, whether you're investing in it or looking at just the token, or maybe you're going into OpenSea and getting into some of the NFT side. Floor price actually is 1049 right now. Wow, that's 10/8. Whew. Uh, volume still heavy, and then about 1,000 owners right here on NFT World. So I can see when we're starting to see some movement here. And again, I think this is one of those things. I know we're going to run down a few of these. I want to get to some of the others. NFT Worlds has just seemed to, one, I think they built a community first and have been able to really kind of propagate within the community and utilize it in a way to spread the kind of the news around it, and also create a little bit of awareness and kind of that cool factor, which I think you need in a metaverse project that helps you kind of jump it to the next level. Let's go over to Mavia Land. This one, 2,400 owners. They got 8,000 items on OpenSea. This was one of your picks, Mirko. Talk to me about Mavia.
Mavia is, yeah, if you go to the website, it's basically, if you think about the mobile game, what had the most success was Clash of Clans. And Mavia is basically the play and earn version for Clash of Clans.
Right.
And I've found, because we are in a guild, we have a lot of early contacts with these projects, and we really like first of all the marketplace part. So you basically can own these arenas. You can buy them on the marketplace. It's not yet live. And the land is basically the tool where you can rent out, or can basically people play on your land, or you can rent it out as kind of a passive way to participate and to earn yield on your land. And this is what is very interesting. And if you check who is on the deck, is also pretty interesting, because we have like tier 1 VCs and like Bitkraft, Delphi Digital. We have Animoca Brands, Crypto.com, Genblocks, YieldGuild is their hash key. So it's an Binance Labs. So it's an I would say all-star backing on that. And I was on their Twitter. You can see the tokenomics, how they have a burning system. And if you see, it looks like the subway system of New York City, and they're simulating very in depth, like how many users that we don't get a problem, or let's say an inflation on the token side. So it's really interesting what they have built or what they will build. And the land is basically an interesting part. You can buy 3 rarities on the land, and the mint is maybe a 3x from the original price now. So it's still, I think there will be more demand once the game is live. But I like the land because you have really utility. You can stake it, you can rent it, and this is a kind of a passive way, and own a piece of Mavia. And Mavia, again, like with this backing, is definitely there's a lot of awesome people working on it. So looks for me like a very good party.
Yeah, I was looking at their deck, just what they're using out there. I like the way they kind of explain the ecosystem here with Mavia and Ruby. And then also there was some interesting, you were talking about the rarities, 3 different types here on the NFTs with each of their own unique elements. So they've got the heroes, the base land, and the statues. And again, back to the investment teams that are behind and backing a lot. This one seems very, very sophisticated and polished. And I also looked at this from a team aspect. It looks like there's a lot of game developers who've been in AAA. There seems to be a very seasoned team behind this one. Then you've got a very seasoned VC group behind us. Why have we not heard more about this project before now? You brought this one to me, and I'm glad you did. But I'm just seeing like some of these are hidden gems out there. What do you think is kind of the next move for some of these to get their name out there and really kind of move to the next level to where it's more of a, I think, covered in the news? Or do you think they're trying to slow down the press while they're building?
So in the roadmap, I think the token, the TGE, was planned for this quarter, but I believe because of the market conditions, so they moved it. And then, you don't start, if you start marketing in this market, or especially when
Yep.
the crisis in East Europe started, or eastern part of the world, like there was, no project want to launch in these times. You want to have
Yeah.
the best start for your project, especially when you have this all-star team. And I believe it's nothing to lose to wait. So it's like they have the land out. I think they're building solid, and it gives them just more time to prepare everything instead of rushing. Rushing a launch.
Yeah, much more strategic for sure. I would agree with that one. Let's get into Metroverse. This is another one that was kind of dropped in. Again, another great graphics component here. Thoughts on this one? Where do you see this one going? This one is a little bit different strategy of how they're going about their land sales, and just in general how their particular platform is working. Tell me about this one, Mirko.
Yeah, so this reminds me on SimCity. It's it was a building game. You can build your own city. Of course, here the city is already built, but I like the colorful land or city plots, and the city plots have different rarities. Yeah, they just dropped their what was called again, the blackout version of the city. And it's really interesting because you can, first of all, you can mint it, and you can stake it, and you can have, I think the mate token was the name for that. And and then later you can build your neighborhood basically with them. And I really think with the detail, attention to detail, what they put on the NFTs, I think it's pretty good team, and they have a not too bad trading volume on OpenSea. So this is something we always look at when it comes to the next
Right.
project. And it's like with the land, for example, with Mavia, what you asked me, like when there's more marketing. But for example, in this project, I think when the game is ready, you will see much more movement, let's say, on the trading, on the NFTs. Same here, whenever the team is bringing out something new, then you see more attraction on the NFTs. Yeah.
Yeah, good movement on OpenSea. I was just looking here. This was on the blackout mint that they just did. So floor price already at an ETH and about 150 owners here. So that's good. I was looking at their roadmap also, which is kind of interesting. This goes back into what you mentioned right here on the blackout mint. Next up is their PV game release. And then they have their mare mint. This is going to be 1,000 Genesis mares available. So that might be an interesting one to watch for sure. And I like the rollout that they're using. One with just being able to, because I think strategic marketing is very, very key in a lot of these projects, understanding how to, one, get the awareness around it, how to roll it out into a market so you can get users and people really kind of attracted to the project. So I think they're doing an excellent job. Let's jump over to DROPP, because this one is I like this one. This is one of my favorites that you've sent me so far. Tell me about this one. Where's this one going?
For me, DROPP is, I think it's undervalued because it's on Solana, and usually the NFT market looks OpenSea, but DROPP, first of all, they have an awesome backing. They have an awesome team. Unfortunately, not yet our call took place because we also want to have a piece of land with the team, but I like the part that they're building basically on the VR side, where we already know that it still takes a little longer to develop, that we get like a really going out there using your phone for VR. So they're replicating, or the first land sale for Los Angeles been out. And if you go to their Twitter, they have already like a huge artist support from, I think, one of the kind of boxer or YouTuber before. Now he's a boxer, Jake Paul, and there's two more other artists who supporting that. And we need these people to basically to attract more people into the metaverse. And I think that's really a good deal here to get them on. And I think there's not the last one who want to join. And then also when we go to the investor side, there is again like the typical suspects, Animoca and Three Arrows is there. So there's a lot of awesome people behind and supporting this project. And Alameda Research, GenBlock again. So this is like really crypto, or let's say, sorry, metaverse focused venture capitalists. And they're really, Animoca is not only, just investing. So, and this project, they're really helping on tokenomics, on game development, and so on. So this is, I think they get an awesome support here. And also it's built on Solana, so Solana Venture, Solana Eco Lab, I don't know the correct name, sorry. They're on it basically to help them to onboard. I mean, this already happened. And and the land, you just showed the map of Los Angeles. There's already a lot of projects signing up to get a piece of land here. And again, on Twitter, all the little houses, what you see, it's awesome designed. And I think if you check the ecosystem, how DROPP now starts to basically incentivize the user with the token, but also where the journey goes with the VR part and earning and through the world, it's really fantastic. And I love DROPP, really. It's an awesome project. And wish them all the best, of course, with the hard work they put in. And I like the build of metaverses. And I want to highlight one part here, because I think it's even maybe land is more attractive for, let's say, people who never been in touch with crypto. Instead of buying a token, you don't know maybe about the project, so you buy land. And land is nothing else than land, let's say, just in digital version. So it's so interesting that maybe even more and more people can identify themselves with owning a piece of real estate in the metaverse. So maybe they have a few properties in real life, and that makes them maybe more confident, maybe to get in one of these projects. So and then here the beautiful houses. So DROPP definitely a highlight for me.
I was looking at this tweet in from Maven Capital. They obviously just here recently joined in, obviously with Animoca, Avocado Guild, Definance Capital, Genopats jumped in on this one. Even Nine Heroes. So there's a lot of intermingling here around the Solana ecosystem. It appears, and I guess that's going to be interesting to watch, is what chains really start to evolve as winners, because I think that's going to be a factor in some of the games and projects that we do see come out on some of these alternate, blockchains, whether it's Solana or, even now we're starting to see a handful on Avalanche, Polygon, of course. We've had their guys on the show here from Polygon Studios. So I think there's a bit of a race there to really kind of dominate and move in this direction, but it's going to be interesting to watch DROPP for sure, especially because their association with Solana. Let's jump over to Ember Sword. This one, of course, is, we've covered this. They recently did a land sale. There's some interesting factors around Ember Sword, in essence about when and how and what the strategy is to buy on a piece of land for Ember Sword. Have you looked at this project?
Yeah, we already also as a guild. Ember Sword is, I think, not so new. I mean, I think we've read about it or get in contact with them on their first land sale. I think that was in July last year. So, and it's interesting because it's free to play, and I like the graphics are simple. It's an MMORPG, so that means there's hundreds of players and thousands of players, hopefully soon, in that world. And the land is definitely also, I would say, very good for guilds, of course, or for communities, but also kind of an investment piece, I would say, because the landowner is kind of benefiting on the land play. because they're kind of
Right.
a free to play. So this is a very cool feature, and you see that more and more often on games like Mavia. There's other games also in future who using the kind of model, so the landowners get rewarded by revenue what is coming through the game. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking there, pre-alpha technical begins testing soon. So they've got a test one on April 4th through the 8th. They've got another one coming in 18th through the 19th. And then one of our guys was showing me a little bit about the kind of the secrets, or not secrets, but the ways to buy land if you could get it. And buying within those red city radiuses was kind of interesting. When you go into and or near one of those cities, which are those big red blocks, if you can grab land around this, if stay within that radius, that seems to be the opportunity to earn more revenue through different kinds of transactions. So interesting, because I think there's a lot of different strategies that are being utilized in land acquisition, but also prepping for what could be a little bit of a run on the potential to really earn revenue on different kind of, use cases within the land on a lot of these different projects out there. Have you seen any projects recently that has one surprised you with innovation or the way that they're approaching their land sales? Anything that's unique that you could call out?
I think there's a few games that have interesting land pieces. I think Shrapnel is one they have at the moment. The land sale, and it's very different because this is Shrapnel is an FPS game, so it's a shooter,
Right.
and it will be interesting to see how the monetization there works. And yeah, but there's many projects with innovations, but yeah, everybody is, I think, going in the right direction, especially on the land. Yeah, I think it's easier to monetize that than maybe a token to make a token to make marketing around the token. So a piece of land is definitely really good holding, or for us guilds is also super interesting to own a piece of the land and giving basically a home for our 200,000 players. So yeah.
Right. Big Time is one that we just did a video on this. They're a partner of the network, and we did a video on their Exalted Space sale, which is coming up on the 24th here, just I think in a couple of days. So Big Time we've been following for a little bit, and we understand kind of what they're doing with space, the whole aspect around their gaming model, what it looks like. Do you feel like this project is on track to really roll out? What are your thoughts on that one?
So yeah, we're in close contact with the team from Big Time. We also, as a guild, is one of our largest holdings, I would say, on the spaces, because spaces is basically we need spaces to craft items to build the time machines, and it's basically yeah, it's an MMO. So actually, no World of Warcraft for me or for us. This is like the play and earn answer on World of Warcraft, and
Right.
the builder team is, I would say, all-star team. So Riot Games, EA, Blizzard, they've been working on all this project, and the CEO is also well known. Yeah, I think he's not. I think he's the founder of Decentraland.
Yep.
So someone who really can lead a crypto company to like to be one of the top 50 projects. So I believe they are really awesome. At the moment, they have the land sale is coming soon. They still have a few early passes, and this is also interesting because if you get a gold pass, you can basically play 1 month before everybody else.
Right.
So it's very interesting, these passes. And yeah, and the Exalted Land sale is still live, so this is the last pieces, and everybody who really want to wait for or cannot wait for Big Time and don't need to have a guild, but with a piece of land, so a space, that's also the way how to monetize the game, and it's pretty interesting. And we also have a partnership with Big Time, of course, and we definitely make updates on the development. They just released a pre-alpha gameplay, and this is actually an awesome trailer. You can find it on their YouTube, and it looks really interesting. So this game is graphic wise, and then you see there's some really engineers working on that, and definitely one of our most excited games what we're waiting for. And yeah, it's pretty good. And yeah, the team is awesome. They're doing really a lot for marketing, and including the guilds and communities. This is, I really like TikTok challenges, Twitter contests, and it's really interesting. And that's what you need to do. You need to interact with the player communities, and yeah, awesome gameplay as you see here, fantastic visuals, and you have different classes. So yeah, very excited.
I think this is one of those that, for me, it could be a breakout for 2022 as they start to continue to roll out a lot of their development in the game itself, especially around this pre-alpha. Just what they've showed so far has been pretty fantastic with this. So I anticipate Big Time could be one of the big players on both a land, in this case space, in the world of NFTs this year for sure. Let's jump over to our last one, and that of course is Illuvium. Illuvium is one of our favorite projects out there. It's kind of one of my top 3 in the category of not only game, but also the evolution of what Illuvium is trying to do. When you look at the scope and size of Illuvium, because we've had their CEO on the show before, and to me, Illuvium has such a massive plan here. The question I always have with projects like Illuvium is, do you feel like they can achieve it with these kinds of table stakes that they're putting out there? Their Illuvium, they've got their farming game coming, they've got land staking, their beta is expected soon, they've got an auction, 100,000 lots of plots of land going to be available. What are your thoughts on Illuvium's future?
I think they do really well. I believe they've been in a very good position in the very beginning. When all the play-to-earn hype starts, Illuvium was there. That's good. The team is strong. I think it's just every game have that challenge now. So now the new releases, or they, because it's need development time, and this is a little bit. We are in crypto. We are a little bit impatient. We don't want to wait so long, and this is sometimes why it's like, let's say, challenging for us, or like also us, where we developing. But as a game, it just need time, and if you want to make an awesome game, you cannot rush it, right? So, and yeah, I think Illuvium is building, and they have a stable tokens, not a stable coin, but a stable token so far.
Right.
And yeah, I think it looks pretty good. They have a strong community. They're always releasing new footage. They're always releasing more gameplay that people can be excited about. They're showing more insights. They're doing AMAs and so on. So this is important. If you keep the community updated, I like Illuvium very much. It's definitely one of the games we're waiting for, and super excited.
I was just looking at their current token price, Illuvium trading at around 568 still right now. It's been somewhat flat here recently. We've been looking at it as, is this a good time to get into this one? Because it is a little bit undervalued as opposed to where it was, back in the heyday. So if we do see some runs on the market, if we do see some movement in a positive way around Bitcoin and the traditional crypto assets that kind of bring some of the core gameplay companies along with them, Illuvium could be a beneficiary of that kind of market move for sure. So it's going to be interesting to watch. They often rank really high on our overall metaverse and gaming charts, which I think again goes back to their community, a lot of pent-up demand. But I think at some point they have to really start releasing, which is like a lot of projects that we've talked about. But again, these things obviously take time for sure. Hey, Mirko, it's always good having you on. I love breaking down these kind of the land approach here, because this is one that I think a lot of people are they're not necessarily aware of what's happening in digital land sales and digital assets from this kind of angle. So hopefully it gives a bunch of ideas to people out there to go research But we appreciate you stopping in today.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, Paul. See you.
All right, so excellent. You guys are tuned in over on the podcast side right now. That's the best thing to do is give us some likes over there if you like the audio version. But if you're going to catch all these great graphics and a lot of our charts and just some of the things that we really dive into here on both Metaverse, NFTs, play to earn, and really kind of the evolution of blockchain gaming, you've got to get on our YouTube channel. Just search Paul Barron Network. You'll find us there. If you want to catch me out on Twitter, it's @Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on Metaverse Insider.